life is foolishness. This is no time, in any case, to be very tolerant of foolishness. The world is mad, and these are dreadful times. Things are not going to be easier in years ahead. The spiritual process has always been lived in difficult times, however. And the spiritual process tolerates no fool. The spiritual process itself will spit you out. It is not an easy attainment. It is a profoundly difficult affair. Even to listen to what you have listened to is something that has been heard by a fraction of the human race in all history. The opportunity to practice is extremely rare. The fulfillment of it is practically unknown. In some sense, you could say, this is hell. In our religious language, we talk about what can happen to you after death. Well, you can go to heaven, you can go to purgatory and get cleaned up, or you can go to hell. And then, perhaps, having gone to purgatory or to a temporary hell, maybe you'll be lucky enough to be born as a human being and devote yourself to the spiritual process. Looked at in another way, you could say that this birth is hell. This is one of the hells. This is a domain of unhappiness. What else is hell? A place of self-obsession, bewilderment, without release. This is a tormented place, not tormented by constant fires and people gnawing on your skull. Although these things happen. But the nature of this hell is that we are self-possessed. We are born in unhappiness, and we do not transcend this unhappiness readily. And we constantly pursue happiness by all kinds of incredibly complex means, and never attain it. And in the entire history of this mortal gathering, there have been occasional individuals who have actually realized the nature of existence, the condition, the reality, the divine nature and domain. Not simply as a form of belief, fully, bodily, utterly, transcendentally. They become a mechanism in nature that serves the possibility of awakening on the part of others. If those who had fulfilled the way did not turn about and teach, this would be truly a hell. Instead of being like a hell. It would be truly a hell if there were no possibility of enlightenment. If there were no teaching, no dharma, no adepts, no sacred way, no sacred community, no capacity for understanding self-transcendence. It is true the world is always struggling against such possibilities. The world does not like adepts, teachings, spiritual communities. Individuals don't like these things. Those who take up this way struggle with me, struggle with the teaching, the community, the institution, the endless affair. brutishness, betrayals, attacks, and just plain old neurosis, non-service. So the world, in its hellish form, is at war with happiness. The teaching is wisdom about this unhappiness and the offering of the transmission of happiness. The offering to everyone who will hear and see and take up the way of every possible advantage that can be given to beings born in this dimension. Yes, the teaching is good, the practice is good, the community is good. You as a practitioner of the teaching are good. But it's even better if there is the spiritual master, mature devotees, the sanctuaries, the means of blessing. If the transmission is radiating through all of time and space, through the adept's work. This is much better. And in fact, it is those more profound forms of transmission that are the true treasures, the real or ultimate means upon which all other agencies are based. Therefore, to take up this way, you must be a serious person. You must understand that this fellowship is not merely a religion business or a cult of some sort that invites the neurotics of the world to find a haven in which to dramatize their suffering. The world is already a haven for the dramatization of suffering. This institution is simply a vehicle for my teaching work, a means whereby the teaching itself is made available to as many people as possible, a means whereby a cultural gathering of practitioners can become the context of your practice rather than isolation, a means whereby sanctuaries can be created and empowered and preserved and made accessible, a means whereby the spiritual master can be maintained as spiritual master and not some worldly functionary, and made accessible to those who will practice. It is a serious and profound matter, and you must study it profoundly. You must devote your entire life to it. The process is most difficult. As any creative process is difficult, yet being the greatest process of all, it is therefore the most difficult, the most to the point. All other difficulties or forms of tapas are simply expressions of this one fundamental tapas, the heat of the spiritual process. And what is the spiritual process ultimately? It is a matter of keeping attention in happiness rather than in unhappiness. Keeping it in the well of happiness, the condition, the present locus in which happiness, the current of love bliss, is actually felt. And on that basis, developing the various aspects of the way: meditation, conductivity, service, and self-discipline.